At Gatwick Airport, UK border agency officers are observing passengers who've just arrived from Kingston in Jamaica.
Just nice and slowly pass the dog, please. Bags down off the shoulders.
As drug detection dogs assess the travellers, officers have been drawn to a couple who've been behaving suspiciously.
Thank you.
At the immigration desk, the woman in white is asked to remove her sunglasses for passport verification. Her partner in the red shirt at the desk next to her is allowed to proceed. Eventually, she too is allowed through. But Officer Chris has reasons to doubt they're legitimate travellers.
The fact they changed their date of return to come back by a week, to us, they look quite nervous. Down at immigration, they acted very sort of strangely. They sort of try to go in the wrong exit.
The couple separate as they exit the baggage reclaim area. Typical behaviour of passengers with something to hide.
Two of you together? Yeah. Have you got your passports and tickets? How long have you been out there for?
Oh, 17, 18 days.
Holiday? Well, back to work tomorrow now, is it, or what?
I wish. No, got made redundant last year, so...
Okay. What was you doing?
Building supplies.
Okay, and how about you?
I'm just stay-at-home.
A holiday in the Caribbean is an expensive outlay for a couple who aren't working. Suspicion grows that they could be hiding the real reason for their trip.
All right, you packed your own bags?
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody's given you anything to bring back at all, have they? Okay, let's have a good look at your bags anyway.
But it seems the man doesn't want his case to be searched.
I don't think I've got the key to that one for us.
Oh, right, how come you've got the key?
Yeah.
If the keys aren't found by the time the other suitcase has been searched, the padlock will be forcibly removed.
Not that good.
A small trace of cocaine is detected from the first suitcase. So Officer Pete decides to remove the padlock from the other one. Surprisingly, it's almost empty.
I'm just going to x-ray this bag, okay?
He just looks nervous.
This is so light. They're acting so nervous.
The bag is checked for any hidden concealments.
Doesn't look that promising either, does it?
There's nothing in the bag that we can find, but the things like they didn't have the lock for their padlock was a bit unusual. The fact where they've come from as well just gives us grounds to go to the next sort of level of the search.
With no concrete evidence found on the couple so far, for now, their story remains a mystery.
How did you finance the trip?
Hard saving.
Right, you've done three.
This remains doubtful given neither of the couple currently work.
This is our reward for pulling through this year.
Right, okay.
The questioning starts to make the man defensive.
Yeah, it's an expensive trip for somebody who's not working, okay? Unfortunately, I understand that.
But it's not just here the couple have aroused suspicion.
Searched in Jamaica,
It's
so
quite ironic, actually. We've had this treatment both ends so far.
All right.
I don't know why we're saying
So we almost missed a flight.
Okay. I'm afraid I will have to have a quick ask for rub-down searches on both of you anyway, okay?
Now we're going to go to the search of person. If we don't find anything in there, we find sort of additional factors from the search, we'll think again about what we're going to do.
Both passengers are taken to separate rooms and searched individually to see if they're carrying any drugs on their bodies.
I'm just trying to see if there's any traces in the shoes to establish if she's a swimmer.
If passengers are carrying drugs internally, traces are often excreted through the sweat glands in feet.
That seems on here in the green color.
The woman's shoes come back clear. With no hard evidence found on her, she's released to await the outcome of her partner.
Just going to pat you down, basically. Okay. Let's see you hold your feet there as well. I think we're just about done.
Surprisingly, nothing is found on the male passenger either. Despite their erratic behavior and very unusual story, the couple are free to go.
They're actually very, very nervous. They were marching up and down left, right and centre. there was a change in the booking of the tickets. He was unemployed. How did he afford a holiday like that with no job?
Although their conduct still remains suspicious, Officer Pete has no option but to accept their version of events.
Don't know what it was about, but as he said, it was a holiday to celebrate being unemployed, and that was it.
At Birmingham Airport, a number of flights are about to depart for destinations around the world. Officers are monitoring passengers in departure lounges and checking for large quantities of cash. Passengers leaving the country must declare any quantity of cash over 10,000 euros, and officers are interested in questioning passengers carrying anything over 1,000 euros. Large quantities of cash leaving the country is often linked to organised crime, so sniffer dogs are deployed to make initial detections on passengers.
How long are you going to China for?
About a week.
About a week.
See my granddad.
Right.
One passenger travelling to China has been pulled over for questioning after confessing to carrying a few £1,000s.
So it's just a pleasure trip, it's not a business trip?
Sorry?
It's not a business trip, it's just pleasure?
No.
Yeah. Why are you taking £3,000 for a week?
You know, my granddad's ill, and then he should die.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Right, okay. How much money have you put in the suitcases on the aeroplane?
I think it's a few hundred.
A few hundred,
Yeah.
okay.
With more cash in his checked-in suitcase, the officer asks to have this removed from the flight so it can also be checked.
I need the bags off for this guy. So, how much do you earn a month?
How much a month?
Yeah.
Let me check it.
You must know.
2,000 exactly, I think it's
2,000 exactly.
about 2,500. Also, I ran the business for somebody.
So you rent a business for somebody, so you have an additional income that way?
Yeah. I got a 2 limited.
Yeah. We're asking now specifically about your rental income.
Rental income.
Yeah, you said you had rental income as well.
I can't say exactly because I got an accountant.
So if you're providing the accountant the figures, you would know how much you were earning.
Every month I got 200.
You get 200.
Yeah,
I thought you said
about
2,500.
Sorry, every week, sorry about that.
Every week you get 200?
Every week 200.
Right, that's only 800 a month.
The man seems to be confused about his finances.
Just stay with your money just now, sir.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to
no
make some
problem.
calls and check something. I'll be right back to you, okay? Just watch your money.
The officer suspects that deliberately or otherwise, he may not be paying his taxes.
I'll just tell you what's happening just now, sir. Because you've got more than £1,000 in cash, customs investigate the source of the cash. Now, as long as your money comes from a legitimate source, the money will be returned to you. Now, just let me finish, right? The officer's going back to do some checks just now with the tax office to see how much you've declared over the last 3 years. So, in your suitcase downstairs, we're bringing that up just now. How much do you think you've got in there? Be honest with me.
300 to 500.
Is that all you've got in there? Right, okay.
The man's checked-in suitcase has been retrieved. Officers will exhaust every avenue to check his story.
Did you pack this bag yourself, sir? Did you pack everything in the bag? Does it belong to you?
Yes.
Are you carrying anything for anybody else today? No.
More checks are conducted to confirm how much income tax the man has paid from his restaurant business.
I'm going to go in and check what his earnings are, okay?
With just minutes before the man's flight is due to depart, officers will have to make a very quick decision about whether to let the man leave the country with his cash.
You told me you were a director of a limited company.
Yeah, two limited.
Yeah, and you say you earn 2,500 roughly a month.
Pay the electric £6.
Once again, the officer works out the passenger's outgoings, but they don't seem to tally with what he's declared to the tax office.
We've got you declared your total income of 16,334.
16,000.
Yeah. Now, if you're saying you only earn £16,000 a year, you told me you get paid at least £800 a month from the other restaurant, okay? So that's going to take you right up to 22 grand right away.
You do your own thing.
It seems there's a big discrepancy with the man's finances. If he's to catch his flight, there's no time to argue.
Yeah, mate, what's going on with this? We need to make a decision ASAP.
Stand by.
The man gets a lucky escape.
What I'm going to do just now, sir, is I'm going to let you travel today because your flight's leaving imminently, and I don't have time to do the additional checks I need to do. So I'm going to let you fly today, but I'm going to put a referral into the tax office because I believe you're not declaring the income. Put your stuff back in the case and fly today, sir. Right? Okay. And that's it. Finished today. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
The man is fortunate to be allowed to leave the country with his cash, but he's likely to be in trouble with the tax office when he returns.